What's that? No. Now you can. What home team's red? Storm is home? Okay, good. Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the James I. Moyer Sports Complex in Salem, Virginia for the 18U Championship of the USA Softball Gold National Tournament. My name is JJ Nekloff. I'm the Associate Commissioner with the Old Dominion Athletic Conference here in Virginia as we come in here to bring you a little bit of extra content here for the championship games then from the rest of the tournament here with some audio here for this game and also for the championship games, and I say games plural for the if game possibility for both 16U and 18U. Here in this contest we have the Florida Storm and Windermere Wildfowl here for the 18U contest, and this is the first of two possible games. The Wildfire would be the team that would need to win for us to have a second game here on Field 1 in Salem. As we go ahead and get things moving here pretty quick in between games, so not a whole lot of time to bring you some pre-information here. We'll just go ahead and look to the lineups as players join in, and then in between innings I'll go ahead and give you a full lineup setup here. Wildfire will be led off by Charlie Warren. She's the left fielder, and they'll be going up against Storm pitcher number 31, Hannah Marion, in the circle for the Storm. And the first pitch offering is off the outside edge and a little bit high as we're underway here from the end of Union Street in Salem, Virginia. Mid-90s as the wind has picked up here a little bit and is blowing across the field. And Warren swings and fouls that one back to even the count at 1-1. Marion ready with the 1-1 pitch. And that one's downstairs and outside, ball 2. USA Softball is some of the most robust umpire training programs here, and we have 3 good ones here on this game, as I'll give you their names here after the 2-1 pitch from Marion, and that one fouled off the netting here on the third base side. Evens the count up at 2-2 now. Rob Penikoff is behind home plate. He's from Brea, California. Jason Smith is at first base from Orlando, Florida. And Randy Homer is at third base out of Idaho Falls, Idaho. And we'll bring you a little bit more details on them as we go ahead and feature not just some nice tidbits about the players out here in this tournament, but also some of the history behind the umpires here and their vast experience levels that we have for these games. Warren fouls that one back to keep the count here at 2-2. These final games here today, the culmination of a long week of championship play for these teams. And we'll get into some of the results here for them as we move through our broadcast for you. 2-2 pitch lined right at the third baseman, and corralling that there is Casey Machado for the first out. Machado was in there in front of the bag as well, making that much more of an impressive play, taking care of the line drive. As stepping to the plate now is Olivia Lipari, the second baseman for the Wildfire. And that one looks like a little too tall for the strike zone there. Goes for ball one. Marion, the Storm pitcher, one of several players in this game and for both teams that are committed to colleges, universities, as they look to move on to the next level. That one popped up to short, and no problem there for Reagan Sinkowitz as she takes care of that one for the second out.
Stepping up, center fielder number 20, Emily Allen.
Now batting the center fielder number 20, Emily Allen. Allen here hitting a cool .538 in Salem. And we'll be able to bring you some of those stats here as we go. And that one, whether it was check swing or not, we got strike one to the player wearing number 20. Wildfire, the visiting team in this game by virtue of coin flip, as they've done that for each of the contests here in bracket play. That one missing the zone for ball one. 1-1 strike on the Wildfire center fielder. Marion's offering a little spin shot to second base. Up with it and taking care of it to end the inning there is Anna Brait. So for the Wildfire in the top half of the first inning, no runs on no hits. There were no Storm errors and no Wildfire left on base. We'll stay right here with you and go through the lineups here for these two teams. As we'll go ahead and start there with the Wildfire. You saw Charlie Warren, the left fielder, and Olivia Lipari, the second baseman, as well as Emily Allen, the center fielder, as they went down 1-2-3 in the top of the first inning. Batting fourth for the Wildfire is first baseman Dylan Anthony. Then it's shortstop Lexi Scalzo, the catcher Larkin Maceda. Batting seventh at third base is Mariah Rodriguez. The designated player is Allie Schick. And batting ninth in right field is Lily Keister. In the flex position and pitching for the Wildfire out there in the circle right now is number one Kat Buckner. And the lineup now for you for the Storm. Leading off will be center fielder number 17, Karis Platt. Then it's third baseman, Casey Machado. Batting third is second baseman, Anna Brait. In the designated player position, number 55, Tava Thornsberry. Then it's the pitcher, number 31, Hannah Marion. Shortstop, Reagan Sinkowitz, batting sixth. Hitting seventh is the catcher, number 8, Alicia Thompson. Batting eighth is the first baseman, Zoe Thornsberry. And hitting ninth is the right fielder, Mandy Taylor. In the flex position is left fielder, Haley Turner. So we'll get things moving here first with Platt, the center fielder.
Number 17, Karis Platt.
Hitting .476 here in Salem with a 1,000.133, so 1.113 OPS. Just the one extra base hit right now, but she's 10 for 21 in 24 overall plate appearances. And that one misses the zone for ball one. Storm going up against Kat Bruckner out there. This is her 8th appearance, I should say. 5th game start, as Windermere has played more games than the Storm, and that one fouled off, even to count at 1-1. Part of that is due to the path the teams have taken. Actually, it's all due to the path the teams have taken here. For the Storm, 6-2 here in Salem. Two of those two losses both came in pool play before we got to the bracket, but once in the bracket, they ran through with 5 straight victories, so they are in the driver's seat here in the championship scenario. If the Storm win this game, that ends the U18 bracket of this tournament. And that one fouled off. 1 ball, 2 strikes. For the Wildfire, they went 3-0 through pool play and won their first 2 games in the double elimination bracket before falling to this Florida Storm team 6-4. And then had to work their way back through the losers bracket and eventually make it here. And they're 10-1 in Salem. And up the middle, leadoff hitter reaches base with the first hit of the game, as Karis Platt stands there on first base. That'll bring up third baseman Casey Machado. And we'll see what kind of situation here. If we've got a sacrifice situation. She does have, of her 6 hits here in Salem, she has 2 home runs, 7 RBI. So we know she's got a little bit of pop in that bat. But in championship scenarios, it's all about pushing runs across the plate, especially early in the game. And it might be one of those situations where you try to set up a runner in scoring position. Regardless, Machado looking at a 1-0 count now. And a 1-0 swinging little capper that the shortstop will take care of. As no problem there for Lexi Scalzo. 1 down now with the runner on first base as second baseman Anna Brait steps in. Brait also hitting .273, 6 for 22, just like Machado. Again, the numbers, the stats we give you, those are here in Salem, as the Game Breaker statistics system doing a nice job of providing us that profile for you. And first pitch swinging, little pop up to third base. And an easy play there for Mariah Rodriguez. As quickly 2 away now after Platt was able to reach to start the bottom half of here in the first inning. Tava Thornsberry stepping to the plate. Big hit in the game earlier today, driving in one of the runs to put the Storm into this contest here as they defeated Rock from New Jersey. Buckner looking in for the signal and then down to her wristband for what the pitch is. And the 1-0 offering is in there for a strike. And the talk about a strike thrown is catcher for Windermere comes up firing. Larkin Maceda takes care of Karis Platt there on the steal attempt. So even though it was a strike on the pitch, we'll still come back with Thornsberry batting in the bottom half of the second inning. But for 1 inning complete here, there were no runs on 1 hit, no errors, and no runners left on base. We're through 1 full, no score here in Salem on field 1. Several pieces of information we can bring you here. Obviously, this is a USA softball tournament, and lots of news going on with USA softball right now, in addition to the teams here that have been competing in Salem in the U18 and U16 championships. USA softball also competing in the Olympics, moving to 3-0 with a win over Mexico earlier either today or yesterday. The time zones are really getting to me here, folks, as far as I can keep track of everything happening in Japan here, making sure I'm in the right spot with my own thought process. But winning that game was Kat Osterman, and Kat Osterman has won games here in this tournament, as she's one of several players on that roster that has played in Gold Nationals. In fact, she is a two-time champion, finishing first with the Katy Cruisers from Katy, Texas in 2000 and 2001. And, folks, as you would expect from somebody of her caliber, Kat was 6-0 with no ERA and 85 strikeouts and 35 innings in the circle in that 2001 tournament. Pretty impressive here. And we go ahead and move to the top half of the second inning. And it'll be Dylan Anthony, the first baseman, leading things off. Marion ready to start her second inning of work, and Anthony, big swing on that one, but swung right through it for strike one. And that one fouled off. Oh, 2 advantage here for Marion. And the 0-2 pitch fouled off, is doing a nice job staying alive there is Anthony. Anthony hitting .281 here in Salem, has 2 home runs as part of 9 hit by this Wildfire squad in their 11 contests. The 0-2 pitch back up the middle into center field, and a diving attempt out there in center will skip underneath the glove and not quite get to the fence. Is trying for 3 is Anthony. She'll slide in and called safe there. So that'll go down as a triple for you. As a 3-base hit to get things moving here for the Wildfire here with nobody out. And we'll see what Lexi Scalzo can do as the shortstop for the Windermere squad steps in. Scalzo hitting .265. Again, a great attempt there in center field by Karis Platt, coming up just short of it, but the risk reward of that type of play, the ball skipping underneath the glove, and ends up with a triple for Dylan Anthony. And Scalzo, first pitch swinging high, fly to left. Underneath the catch made, coming home is Anthony. The throw a little high, and Anthony slides underneath what could have been a tag had it was caught by the catcher. And a check for a runner left early over there at third base is deemed not to have happened, so run scores. Windermere takes a 1-0 lead on the sacrifice fly by Scalzo. Stepping in now is the catcher, Larkin Maceda. We have already seen the gun she's got behind the plate as she threw out a stolen base attempter in the first inning. And that one's downstairs for ball one. Fouled back, so we'll do it again at, well, do it now at 1-1, I should say. One down here in the top half of the second inning. 1 run in for the Wildfire already, as that one's in there for strike 2. 1 ball, 2 strikes. Not sure if Maceda actually agreed with that one there, but she'll be hoping she gets that one for her pitcher, as she comes back out in the bottom half of the second inning. And that went a little too high. Evens the count up at 2-2. Folks, we've got great crews of umpires here. And there's no doubt any play you see out there is going to be well scrutinized by the gentleman in white today. And that one popped up. Looks like it's going to get outside of the infield, short left field. Fighting a little bit of wind there that is high up there, and taking care of it was Haley Turner on what became a much more difficult play than it really should have been. But either way, she makes it, so we're 2 down here now. And now we have third baseman Mariah Rodriguez stepping in, wearing number 22 on her back. 286 hitter here in Salem. And later on, as we continue through this game, folks will bring you some details about these players, as each team has given us a little bit of information about them. You know, find out if some of our players here, we know that they are committed to schools across the country here as they look to play collegiate softball. Maybe find out some superstitions they have, some nicknames, that sort of thing, and kind of let you know a little bit more about them and get to know some of the great players that we've had here this weekend in Salem. First time Salem has been the host for this Gold National USA Softball Championship, which was inaugurated in 1994. And Rodriguez goes the other way with that one as she sits back on an off-speed pitch and deposits it into the right center field for the second hit of the inning for the Wildfire. And that'll bring to the plate designated player Allie Schick.
Now batting number 2, Allie Schick.
Schick fouls that one off to start things. Did you see her work on a swing there right after that? A little bit of a rough go here in Salem right now, hitting 138, and the number that kind of pops out at you there is she struck out 16 times in her 29 plate appearances. So trying to work on finding that contact here and getting a little two-out magic for the Wildfire. She looks at strike 2 there, no balls and 2 strikes, as Marion fires that one across the outside corner. That one's upstairs. 1 ball, 2 strikes. And that one also misses zone, evens the count at 2-2. And they're looking at strike 3 to end the inning here. So for the Wildfire in the top half of the second inning, there was 1 run on 2 hits. There were no storm errors and 1 Wildfire left on base. Their score through 1.5 is Windermere Wildfire 1, Florida Storm 0. As we mentioned, some of the great things here with USA Softball hosting this championship. It's the first ever gold championship here in Salem. It's the 8th annual time that the U16 group has had the Gold Nationals, and the 28th annual 18U championship, as I mentioned, started in 1994. The last time this event was competed was in Oklahoma City in 2020. And you had Birmingham Thunderbolts out of Alabama coming through with the championship in the 18U level. And they defeated Hot Shots Premier out of Texas. Finishing 3rd in that season was Corona Angels, and 4th Nebraska Thunder. The Corona Angels, by the way, from California. The U16 winner was Hot Shots Premier out of Texas as well. Same program as they defeated the California Breeze out of Rockland, California. Texas Bombers finished 3rd, and Tulsa Elite finished 4th. as we're back here in Salem with live action. As it's Tava Thornsberry back up here, as she was up last inning when Karis Platt was thrown out trying to steal second base to end the inning. So she gets a fresh count and another look at it here, and the 1-0 pitch being prepared by Buckner. As that one's over the outside edge, even the count at 1-1. Kat Buckner, this her 8th appearance, 5th start. And pulls the string nicely there. Thornsberry way out in front as she swings through it. 1 ball and 2 strikes. Buckner in 24 2/3 innings coming into this game. Had given up 13 runs on 28 hits. Struck out 18 batters, walked 10. And that one she held on to that off-speed pitch a little bit too much. And evens the count at 2-2. That one popped up. Foul first base side. Diving attempt over there by Dylan Anthony. And it just pops out of her glove. Still, we appreciate the effort. Our teams appreciate the effort. It looks like second baseman's asking, why did you drop it? How'd that happen? This is the 4th game of the day for Windermere. And Thornsberry, learning from the previous off-speed pitches, was able to hold up just enough to cap that one foul to stay alive at 2 balls, 2 strikes. Fairly hazy day around the mountains here in Salem, Virginia, as that can certainly happen during the summer months when things get heated up. There's a grounder to second. Handled nicely over there by Olivia Lipari as she throws out Thornsberry for the first out in the inning.
Stepping up, number 31, the pitcher, Hannah Marion.
And that brings us to the pitcher, Hannah Marion. Marion hitting .238 here in Salem. 5 hits in 21 at-bats. One of those knocks has left the yard as she looks at ball 1. And that one also missing the zone. 2 balls, no strikes. Buckner ready. She rocks, and the righty comes forward and popped up behind home plate. Will it stay in play? It will, just enough there for Maceda to make her second play of the day. And 2 outs here in the bottom half of the second inning as now we get shortstop Reagan Sinkowitz.
The shortstop, Reagan Sinkowitz.
Sinkowitz looks at strike 1 there. Very solid in the field has Reagan been. 18 total chances, including 16 putouts without an error. As really this team made just 2 errors in 152 total defensive chances here in Salem. That one upstairs. 2 balls, or 1 ball, 1 strike, my apologies. Buckner checks the wristband. And swinging and knocking one through the left side there is Sinkowitz as she gets her 3rd hit here at the Moyer complex. And maybe some 2-out magic working for the Storm. As that brings up our catcher, Alicia Thompson.
Now batting number 8, the catcher, Alicia Thompson.
And that one's in there for strike one. Thompson looks at strike two. And chopping one trying to go behind the runner there, but knocking it foul. Stay here, no balls, 2 strikes as she stays alive here in this count. Again, this is the first of 2 possible championship games here at the 18U level. Team from Windermere, the Wildfire, with a 1-0 lead, and if they were to maintain the lead and hold and win this game, we would have that second contingency if game for you, as that one's outside for ball 1, 1 ball, 2 strikes. If the Storm do win this game, that would end the tournament, and the Storm would claim the championship, as they have 1 game in hand, if you will, in the double elimination bracket, having not yet lost in bracket play. And off-speed pitch there, sails high. 2 balls, 2 strikes. What I don't like to see is some clouds moving into the area here right now. Don't need any adverse weather here impacting the schedule of this tournament. And that one also upstairs. So Thompson coming all the way back and working a full count. 3 balls, 2 strikes. 2 down here in the bottom half of the second inning. And Thompson puts a charge into that one to center field. Looks like the wind might hold it up there, and it does. There's no problem there in center field for Emily Allen to handle it. So we're through 2 here now in this here bottom half of the second inning. No runs on 1 hit. There were no Wildfire errors and 1 Storm left on base. Your score through 2 complete is Wildfire 1 and Storm 0. We'll be back with you in a few moments here from the Moyer Complex in Salem, Virginia. Batters 9, 1, and 2 for Wildfire here in the top half of the third inning. And it'll all get started here with Lily Keister, the right fielder. This is her first at bat here in this game. And still hitting a cool 650. 13 hits and 20 at bats, 12 of those singles, and just the 1 double, which is fine. 2 RBIs, 8 runs scored. And showing bunt here, but I imagine that's just part of her process here as we look to get the top half of this third inning underway. And she does slap hit her as she's moving up in the box, and Marion uncorked one that was a little wide that found the backstop here at the field number 1 at the Moyer Complex. This complex in Salem has hosted many, many events, several national championships. And Keister swings through that one for strike one. 1 ball, 1 strike. There you go. Keister ready. And the bunt popped up right back to Marion, and Marion looked away before she had secured it there, and it almost found its way to the ground, but she takes care of it for out number 1 here, and we go back to the top of the order with left fielder Charlie Warren.
Now batting left fielder number 3, Charlie Warren.
As you can hear it in the microphone a little bit there, folks, that the wind is picking up. And another bunt down there. Up with it is first base to second base on that put out, if you will. 3-4 in your scorecards. As taking care of it was Zoe Thornsberry over to Anna Brait. And quickly here, 2 down as Olivia Lipari, the second baseman for Wildfire, steps in. Lipari first pitch swinging as well. Knocks that one into right field. That'll be a base hit. Third time we've had players get a 2-out single in this contest.
Now batting number 20, Emily Allen.
And that'll bring us to center fielder Emily Allen. Allen, one of the players committed already to a school, as she'll be on her way to Palm Beach Atlantic University. As first pitch swinging, a little jam job over to the shortstop, but no problem over there for Sienkiewicz, and that'll end the top half of the third inning for the Wildfire. No runs on 1 hit. There were no Storm errors and 1 Wildfire left on base. You score through 2.5 innings is Windermere Wildfire 1 and Florida Storm 0. As I mentioned, we've got several players in this game that are on their way to schools, and we'll start with Windermere as they've got an abundance of them right now. Lexi Scalzo is on her way to Lee University. Larkin Maceda will be joining our last batter there. We had Emily Allen at Palm Beach Atlantic. Allie Schick is heading to Murray State University. Charlie Warren is signed at Fairfield University. Dylan Anthony at Stetson. Olivia Lipari at UT Chattanooga. Elisa Grande is signed at Palm Beach Atlantic. Mariah Rodriguez is signed at Florida Southern. Kat Buckner also at Florida Southern. Jaden Ruskowski is over at Clemson. Lily Keister at the University of Tampa. Riley Sanders at Southeastern University. And Alyssa Grimes at Nova Southeastern.
Leading off, the first baseman, number 21, Zoe Thornsberry.
Zoe Thornsberry set to lead off the bottom half of the third inning for the Storm, as she fouls that one back for strike 1, the first offering. Was able to bring each of those to you here, as Wildfire had a nice little sheet prepared that had all that information right out there in front of you. I do have that information for the Storm as well. We'll go ahead and get through to those, but I don't have them in a spot that is all compiled together. So we'll get through them one at a time as they come to the plate here in the next couple innings. As that pitch missed the zone from Buckner, 1 ball, 1 strike. Thornsberry ready in the left-handed batter's box. And she takes that one to center field, but right at Allen, and she takes care of it for out number 1. Mandy Taylor is next to bat for Storm,
Now batting
as the
15,
right fielder
Mandy Taylor.
is 1 for 5 so far here in Salem. Taylor open stance in that right-hander's box. As she goes the other way with it to her counterpart there, and starting back first was the right fielder Lily Keister, and then coming in, she couldn't quite corral it there. She was there, tough play coming in, and we'll see. We'll see how that one is scored by our official score. And that'll go down as an error against Keister. First pitch is in there for strike one to Machado. I'm sorry, to Platt. One person ahead in my lineup. Karis Platt, the center fielder. No balls, one strike as the offering coming in from Buckner. Little, excuse me, almost swinging bunt, and that's exactly how it's going to work. As all that speed, and that there was no chance over there for first baseman Dylan Anthony to field it and get back to the bag. So 2 runners on now, as something doing here for the Storm in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. We're going to have a little discussion here first as we get deeper into the meat of the order here with Casey Machado stepping in for the Storm. One down here in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. Runners reaching on by that swinging bunt single there you just saw for Platt. And then Taylor reaching on an error by the right fielder, Keister, as she started going back first on the swing and came in and got some glove on it and looked like she might have been able to take care of it, but it came away, allowing to Taylor to reach base. And now she's standing on second base, representing the tying run. Windermere leading 1-0. As our umpire, Mr. Penikoff, goes to the circle to end the conference here. As head coach George Paulson heads back to the first base dugout. Machado stepping in and tried to take a big cut on an outside off-speed pitch, it looked like, and swang through it. Definitely had a little bit of turn there, so if she had made any contact with that, would have been off the cap and would probably not have been favorable for Machado. That one's upstairs. 1 ball, 1 strike. That went outside. 2 balls, 1 strike. Hope you're tuning in to more USA softball action with the Olympics going on as well. United States already defeating Italy, Canada, and then Mexico earlier today. Next up for them is Australia tomorrow. And that one lifted into right center field. Taking care of it is Allen, and strong throw over toward the third base side. Got through a couple players still. Taylor made the right decision not to go there from second base, as you can't anticipate a misplay over there at third base. Still throw a little up the line and got through third base. 2 down now here in the bottom half of the 3rd inning. Anna Brate, second base, stepping in, left-handed batter. upstairs for ball one on the first pitch. And that one's in there for strike one. 1 ball, 1 strike. USA softball in the Olympics will conclude round robin play with Japan on the 26th. And then it's to the medal round, where we fully expect a team of so many stars, many of which who have played in this game, and we'll get to more of those as we talked about Kat Osterman earlier. But many of those have played in this tournament here before, and we've got a list of those that we'll talk about. 2 balls, 1 strike now on Brait. And Buckner ready, swinging and fouling it back, and not missing by much on that one there was Brait. But 2-2 now. Brait coming into the game hitting .273. She has 4 RBI. Each of her 6 hits going down as singles, and certainly one of those would be welcome right now with Taylor sitting on second base. Brait does a nice job there to hold up as that off-speed pitch found the dirt. So we go full here. 3 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down, bottom half of the third. 2 runners out there for the Storm. Taylor on second. Platt on first. Fouled straight back. That one was even closer. Big swing here for Brait. And you just wonder if she squares one of those up, where it might land out there. Of course, she'll have to go against the prevailing wind coming out there right now. A little hard to tell here in Salem sometimes. The American flag in center field is surrounded by some pine trees out there, so sometimes it can block the actual direction of the wind. But looking at some of the other things here, I think it's blowing across from right to left. Turning on that one and ripping it to first base, but right into the leather glove of Dylan Anthony. And that's a loud way to end the threat here for the Storm in the bottom half of the third inning. For the team from Florida, no runs on 1 hit. There was 1 wildfire error and 2 runners left on base. Your score through 3 complete is Windermere Wildfire 1 and Florida Storm 0. Leading off the top half of the 4th inning here is first baseman number 4, Dylan Anthony. And you wonder what they say about people that make good defensive plays to end 1 inning. Well, they come back up right away in the next inning. And we'll see if that superstition holds firm for the Wildfire first baseman. As the first offering ready from Marion. And Anthony tried to do just that and swung right through it. Big swing for her. But no balls, 1 strike. Anthony looking at her player information sheet here. We talked about already that she's on her way to Stetson University. Nickname of Dill or D from her players, or teammates I should say. She lifts that one into left field, and Turner able to take care of it for the Storm. And quickly out number 1. That brings up Lexi Scalzo, the shortstop, wearing 00 on her back. Scalzo on the way to Lee University. And she lays down a bunt there, taken care of by Zoe Thornsberry. And over to Brait for the second type of put out like that this afternoon. And quickly 2 down here. As now we move on to the catcher, number 1, Larkin Maceda. Lark, as she's known by her team, is inspired by her grandma, Grandma Kennelly. On her way to Palm Beach Atlantic. And that one misses, 1 ball, no strike from Marion. Says her favorite softball player is her older sister, Paige. And her favorite team, though, to watch is Oklahoma. And fouls that one off first base side. What does she want to study when she's in college? She wants to study the law and become a judge one day. One offering coming to Maceda. And in on her hands there, a little tough play, gets past third baseman Rodriguez, but no problem somehow over there for Sinkowitz at short as she came up firing on the tough spin, but 3 up, 3 down for the Wildfire in the top half of the 4th inning. And we're still with a 1-0 contest in favor of the Fire. Take a look at some of the profiles here for those players that we talked about that have competed in this tournament here, that are on the U.S. national team playing in the Olympics right now. We mentioned Kat Osterman as a 2-time champion of this event with titles in 2001 and 2000 with the Katy Cruisers. She's also a 2-time medalist at the Olympics in 2004 with gold and 2008 silver medal, and obviously currently playing there at I believe she's 35 years old. Kaylani Ricketts out of the University of Oklahoma, also on that team. Played at Gold Nationals with Sorcerer Gold out of, looks like, Philadelphia. Taylor Edwards, University of Nebraska. Graduated in 2014. She was on Gold Nationals with Corona Angels, finishing in 2nd place in 2008. And Haley McClenny out of the University of Alabama in 2016, played with the Gold Coast Hurricanes, finishing 4th in 2011.
Leading off the Florida Storm, the designated player, number 55, Taylor Thornsberry.
4-5-6 here for the Storm in the bottom half of the 4th inning, led off by the designated player, Tava Thornsberry. Tava wearing number 55. And that was a quick out there as we move on to number 5 batter and the pitcher, Hannah Marion. Apologize, I had somebody hand me a sheet, but it's a good sheet here as I have a nice roundup here of profiles for each of the players and where they're committed now for the Storm. So we'll be able to go through that a little bit easier here. As Marion is one of those players. Marion on her way. To Stetson. And that one's in there for strike 2, 1 ball, or strike 1? Strike 1. 1 ball, 1 strike. Do my best to work through some of these, as it looks like I might have to brush up on my logos a little bit, as it doesn't say which school, just gives me the logo that they're committed to. So we'll work through those a little bit player by player as we move through the game. It's 2 balls, 1 strike now on Marion. Marion Marion hammers that one to left. But right in the path of Warren out there, and she squeezes it for out number 2. And that'll bring up the shortstop, Reagan Senkowitz.
Number 36, the shortstop, Reagan Sinkowitz.
Reagan, who is signed to play at Lander University. Looks at ball 1. And she lifts that one to left field. More of a regular fly ball there for Warren as she takes care of that one easier. So 3 up, 3 down for the Storm here in the bottom half of the 4th inning. So 6 batters, both teams, 4th, fairly clean. We're still 1-0 here in favor of the Wildfires. We move to inning number 5. The USA softball team playing in the Olympics on gear up to that. There was a series of competitions and training opportunities as part of the Stand Beside Her tour as they prepared for the 2020 Tokyo Games. The Stand Beside Her tour, the message encourages fans everywhere to stand united in their support of the women's national team in the United States on their journey to the Olympic Games. It evokes a powerful message of unity aimed to inspire communities to stand beside her, the members of the women's national team, America, and the future generation of female athletes. Just one of the many strong programs that USA Softball has enacted in recent memory and currently in place. We've touched on a little bit about the softball umpire program, but then there's also the USA Softball Legacy Club, which we'll get into a little bit more as we move here through this game.
Leading off for Wildfire, the third baseman, number 22,
Mariah Rodriguez stepping in to the right-handed batter's box. Third baseman for the Wildfire as we get going here in the top half of the first inning. Hannah Marion getting set out there on the plate. Checks her wristband and she's ready to go. And a good inside fastball there. Rodriguez probably thankful that she just fouled it back, because had she squared it up a little bit, I don't think it was going very far. It was that tight on her hands. And just like that, as she was able to fist that one foul, no balls, 2 strikes. The 0-2 pitch turned on this time, and Rodriguez getting closer and closer, putting one between the white lines there, but that one still goes foul. No balls, 2 strikes. And that one up a little high there, as Thompson has to work to corral it from Marion. 1 ball, 2 strike. Rodriguez on her way to Florida Southern College. And we'll have to ask the players from Wildfire about the superstition they have called the Wacka Dance. That one grounded to second, no problem there for Brait, as she tosses over to Thornsberry for out number 1. And that'll bring up designated player Allie Schick. Schick headed to Murray State University. And like several players here, Alley Cat, as she's known by her teammates, is inspired by her teammates and her coaches. And another one who, when we talk about individual team superstitions, the Wacka dance. So may have to look that up. I imagine in this social media world that somebody may have an example of that out there on YouTube or TikTok. We might just have to rely on you all to look that up yourselves. And she follows off the first offering for strike one. And actually looks like it's a pinch hitter here. Number 29, Jaden Ruskowski, has actually stepped into the left-handed batter's box. And looking at that one for ball one. My apologies, I'm not noticing the change there first. I also don't think it was sent up here. So Ruskowski with one down. And that one outside. I believe that makes our count 2 balls, 1 strike. Jaden Ruskowski, known as JR, will be headed to Clemson. Marion ready, and Ruskowski again. Big swing for her, fouls that one back. 2 balls, 2 strikes. When she heads to Clemson, she'll be looking to study psychology. As she fouls that one off again, do it one more time at 2-2. 3 words she uses to describe her team: dedicated, supportive, and fun. Marion ready in the circle. And trying to straighten it out, but going foul outside of left field. Keeping it at 2-2. Rain coming down here now in Salem, as I just looked over to where I could actually see it out the window. And there we go. Small drizzle. And likely the only thing it'll do is the fields are in great condition. The only thing it'll do is bring up the humidity level. Because anytime weather makes it over those mountains out there, it kind of sits for a little while. So we'll do it for a 4th time at 2-2 here after the latest foul off by Ruskowski. Pace is definitely slowed here in this contest, with both pitchers looking into dugouts for pitching signals. That one lifted into center field and taking care of it without much of a problem at all is Karis Platt for the 2nd out. And that'll bring up the right fielder, number 33, Lily Keister. Killy. Lily will be on her way to the University of Tampa. As she fouls that one off. The padding just outside the third base dugout. As it looks like the rain has slowed to a small drizzle here right now. Her favorite player to watch is Tiffany Howard, and her favorite team is Auburn. As she looks at strike 2, no balls, 2 strikes on a good off-speed pitch from Marion. And when she heads to the University of Tampa, she'll be looking to major in business and marketing. That one off the edge, 1 ball, 2 strikes. Good pitch, though, there from Marion, making her think about it. That one fouled off, and a bit of a screamer there as it heads to the apparel shop down the way. And that one also outside. You can see Thompson behind the plate trying to bring that one back for Mr. Penikoff behind the plate. But nothing doing there. Evening the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes, 2 down here in the top half of the 5th inning. Chopped foul. This time the first base side behind the plate. First time that Keister's tried to pull one over. Future Gold National still to be determined here in the USA Softball National Office. Hoping to make that decision here by the end of the summer and announce it to everyone as Hannah Marion racks up a strikeout there. She gets Keister to swing through it. So for the second straight inning, 1, 2, 3 go down for the Storm. And through 4.5 innings where Wildfire, for the Wildfire, I should say, going down 1, 2, 3. 1-0 Wildfire after 4.5 innings here. As we take a look at some of those other programs we talked about with USA Softball, the USA Softball Legacy Club provides financial support to the USA Softball National Team, both the program and athletes through their annual membership of giving. These contributions assist in supporting costs associated with training of teams for international play and travel for competition. The Legacy Club members are friends, alumni, and advocates of USA Softball who recognize the value of continuing the legacy established by those in the past who have worn the red, white, and blue. If you want to donate to the Legacy Club, please visit www.usasoftballlegacyclub.com. That's USA Softball Legacy Club, all one word, .com. USA Softball, aside from the national team, does provide people of all ages the opportunity to play the game they love at a variety of levels. USA Softball offers recreational, league, and tournament play like this and national championships for fast pitch, slow pitch, and modified pitch, and annually conducts over 100 national championships here in the States. As we get ready for the bottom half of the 5th inning with the catcher Alicia Thompson stepping in. And the clouds just decided to give way to some really big raindrops. Not sure it's raining hard, but the raindrops are large. And as quickly as they showed up, they've backed off to normal rain. As the second offering here to Thompson is swung on and fouled off first base side. Now, I'm a Cleveland native, folks, and I'm used to strange weather as the lake effect off Lake Erie. It changed things every 5 minutes for you, but coming down here and living in Salem now for the past 15 years has also shown me that there are other places that have odd weather, as all of us up here kind of looked at each other like, where did that come from? Nobody saw the big raindrops coming, and we certainly didn't. They didn't out there, prepared for it, as a towel's been taken out there to try to help out with some things. As you can see, Buckner has one coming out of her back pocket now, so it'll help with hands. But the fields shouldn't have any problem at all. You see a couple dark areas out there because they kind of wet it down a little bit to make sure that there's not a whole lot of dust going on out there with the dirt. But these fields can certainly handle a lot of water, and the staff here at the Salem Civic, at this Moyer complex is absolutely outstanding and top-notch. With the Old Dominion Athletic Conference, we host both Division III national championships and the conference championship here every year. That was a little bit interrupted this year with the ODAC championship not being able to compete here because of COVID, but we still had the national championship here this year, and we'll have it next year as well. And these fields and the championship staff do an outstanding job of preparing them, covering them, and making adjustments to them as needed based on the weather that arrives. As that pitch misses the zone down here. And looking at the count, 2 balls, 2 strikes on Thompson. And that one short hop over there to second base, doing a nice job staying with it, was Lipari, and she takes care of it for out number 1. that'll bring up the first baseman, left-handed hitting Zoe Thornsberry. Thornsberry ready, an off-speed pitch, and she just kind of waved at that one a little bit, and she knows just by her body language that she's kind of like thinking to herself, what was I doing swinging at that one as it bounced in front of the plate. Buckner ready with the 0-1 offering. And big swing, but pop her into shallow center. Coming on for it and making the play there is Allen. And that's 2 down here in the bottom half of the 5th inning. Again, Windermere leading 1-0. And if this score holds, we'll be on tap for a second contest here in Salem here to decide the U18 championship. Now in is right fielder Mandy Taylor. Taylor reached on an error in her first at-bat. As just 5 hits total here in this contest. As Taylor, first pitch swinging, pops that one up into left field. Handled there expertly by Charlie Warren, and 3 up, 3 down for the Storm. Through 5 complete. Windermere Wildfire 1 and the Storm 0. USA Softball also owns and operates the USA Softball Hall of Fame complex, which is the softball capital of the world and the mecca of softball. Both of those registered trademarks. Since it was built in 1987, the Hall of Fame complex has become home to some of the most outstanding softball events in the United States, such as the NCAA Women's College World Series, the USA Softball International Cup, formerly known as the World Cup of Softball, Border Battle, and this championship, the Gold National Championships, and the USA Softball Slow Pitch Championship Series. The USAS, which was formerly known as the ASA USA Softball, but USAS began in 1933 and adopted the first universally accepted rules of play and organized consistent and fair competition across the nation. It has grown to more than a few hundred teams in the early days to over 120,000 teams, representing a membership of more than 1.2 million athletes. Simply outstanding, the work that USA Softball has done to bring softball in this country to the forefront and really be the leader around the world. Back to the top of the order as we go to left fielder Charlie Warren. And the wind has all but ceased. The rain is just about done here. Not really getting brighter out there just yet, but with no wind, we'll see what can happen here in the latter innings as Warren leads off the top half of the 6th inning. And Marion uncorked one that I don't even think it hit the padding there. I think it got on top and found the concrete just beyond the padding. So she'll look to rein that one in here on the 1-0 pitch to Warren. Swinging that one, fouling it off behind us. 1 ball, 1 strike. 4-field complex here at the Salem Civic, I keep saying the Salem Civic Center. That's down the road. That's where the baseball stadium is, where football stadium is, and that's where the basketball arena is, where we've hosted several national championships as well. But the Moyer complex, 4-field facility, and the fields surround a central spire unit, which is where I'm sitting right now, watching things on field 1. And with the infield in, Warren sends that one back up the middle and past diving shortstop there and into center field for a base hit as Sinkowitz made a good attempt at that one. And Marion wants a new softball here as move on to the second batter, and this is Olivia Lipari, the second baseman. So we talked about after Warren reached early last time, or maybe it was the other way around, when it was Karis Platt who reached for the Storm, and that's exactly what it was in the bottom half of the first inning. Is do we talk about movement of players now? So what does Lipari do? First pitch swinging to short. Sinkowitz up with it, takes it herself to second, and then couldn't quite right herself correctly to make a good throw over there to first base as she airmailed it over top of the head of Zoe Thornsberry. So still, it goes down as a fielder's choice and a put out there at second as you can't assume a double play. So no error on that play. As Emily Allen, the center fielder, steps in. First pitch swinging as well. A little blooper over the infield into short left field for a base hit. And that'll put 2 runners on now with just 1 out. 2 hits here in this inning for Windermere.
Stepping up, first baseman number 4, Dylan Anthony.
And gives an RBI opportunity for first baseman Dylan Anthony. Anthony has made a nice play at first base on corralling a line drive to end a scoring threat a couple innings ago for the Storm. She has 8 RBI here in Salem. And scoring runs previously not a problem for this team. First pitch swinging again, the 3rd batter in a row to do it, fouls it off. Wide of the left field line for strike 1. The Wildfire coming in, 81 runs scored in the first 11 games. I think we'll take that output if you're anybody. Have allowed 30. And that's why they find themselves here with a 10-1 record in this game, and now with a 1-0 lead and threatening to do more with 2 runners on and just 1 out. Anthony ready. She swings through that one as she was thinking long ball, trying to turn that 1 into a 4. But now she's in protect mode, no balls, 2 strikes. Marion, like her counterpart Buckner, wearing protective headgear. And her offering is upstairs for ball 1, 1 ball, 2 strikes. See that more and more, especially at the collegiate level, that the protective headgear is being worn by the pitchers, given just the proximity to the plate, being shorter than baseball for those unfamiliar with the game, and the speed still at which the ball can come off the bat. Reaction time is very tough. And that one popped up just beyond third base. Sinkowitz going back and absolutely professionally smooth in taking care of that one. And that's 2 down now and a big out for Marion with 2 runners on. As now we're looking at the shortstop, Lexi Scalzo, stepping in. Scalzo yet to step in the box now. She's ready. Two runners out there, 2 base hits for the Wildfire in this inning. And that one upstairs for ball 1. The hit separated by a fielder's choice that cut down one of the runners early. And now here with 2 down. Back up the middle, Sinkowitz dives and from the ground flips it to Brait at second to end the inning. Outstanding defense from the Storm. For the Wildfire in the top half of the 6th inning, there were no runs on 2 hits. There were 0 Storm errors and 2 Wildfire left on base. Your score through 5.5 is Windermere Wildfire 1 and Florida Storm 0. We'll be back with you here in Salem in just a few moments. Batters 1, 2, and 3 as we get going here in the bottom half of the 6th inning. And if the Storm want to come away with this Gold National Championship the short way, they have just 6 outs left to do it right now, with Windermere Wildfire leading 1-0. Karis Platt, center fielder, will lead things off. Came into this game hitting .476. I'll take that. And she looks at strike one. Platt, committed to Florida Southwestern State College. Looks at ball one there as that's upstairs as she was moving forward in the box as a slap hitter. Says the team's superstitions are their warm-ups, their uniforms, and Coach Carlos' pregame speech. As that one's downstairs for ball one. That coach's assistant coach, Carlos Sotalongo. As he is out there manning the first base lines right now, head coach Jerry Shepard at third base. As he told me earlier, as that one goes foul beyond him, look for the hat, and that'll be the base that he's on. So he's got the brimmed hat out there. As given that they won a game earlier today, I had an opportunity to chat with him a little while. The Windermere team has been on the field for each of the last 2 time slots before this, so didn't quite have an opportunity to get with their coach. But thankfully the staff here with USA Softball has been excellent in providing us information. Dylan Anthony again making a nice play over there at first base as she scoops that one up on the backhand side and beats Platt to first for out number 1.
Now batting, number 6, third baseman, Casey Machado.
Casey Machado stepping in now. Machado will be headed back down here to this area, just 60 miles to the east, as she'll be going to Liberty University. And playing on some of the outstanding facilities they have there at the Central Virginia campus. And she's got 2 individual superstitions that she shared with us. She has a specific way that she puts on her uniform, and she eats a pack of M&Ms before a game. So that's nice. I definitely understand the uniform one, though, too, as that's what I used to do. My background being soccer when I was in school. Grounded over to third, and Machado thrown out by her counterpart, Rodriguez. And that's 2 down here in the bottom half of the 6th with Brait coming in.
Now batting, number 28, second baseman, Anna Brait.
Anna Brait is inspired by the Lord and her family. Looks at strike one. She is on her way to the College of Holy Cross. And we'd love to tell you her superstitions, but she just says there's too many to name. So sounds like a little bit of difference between these 2 squads as their superstition level. As very much a team-oriented superstition for Windermere with the Waka Dance. And some interesting individual ones for Florida Storm, even though obviously the players from the same state, assuming that we're talking about Windermere, Florida with the Windermere Wildfire. 2 balls, 1 strike now on Brait as the future accounting major is ready to go and waiting for the offering That one's downstairs. 3 balls, 1 strike from Buckner. I had to do a double check there for a quick second, folks, as for some reason I thought maybe there was a pitching change that I missed, but it's still Buckner in there. As that one, a little topper over to third. Rodriguez, some bad spin there on that one as she overplayed it when it came around to her. So we'll see how that'll be scored by our official score. And we're going to go with an error on that play.
Now batting number 55, Tava Thornsbury.
As she was there on that one, but couldn't come up with the ball to make the play. So we have a runner on first base now with David Thornsbury stepping in. And she swings and falls off the 1-0 pitch. Ava, her given name, goes by Tava, which I think is what has confused me when I'm looking at the lineup cards and looking at the information sheets I have in front of me. Has not yet committed to a school. And of her superstitions, she mentions coach's speech as she sends a single there into short right field to get a little bit of action going here for the Storm with 2 down. And she also mentions the team warm-up, and then she has the same hairstyle for every game.
Now batting the pitcher, number 31, Hannah Marion.
Two runners out there now for Marion, as she can certainly do a lot to help herself here in the circle. Trailing 1-0 here, bottom half of the 6th inning. And we're going to have a discussion in the circle. And could it be time for a pitching change? Try and change things up a little bit? I wouldn't really think so, as the 2 balls that have been hit this inning have not been hit hard. And not much all day, I should add, has been hit hard off of Buckner. But then again, this is the 4th game for this team today, trying to manage pitching staffs throughout any tournament scenario, let alone in one where you have a condensed amount of games coming through a specific bracket type, is a challenge for the coach. And this looks like it was just more of a motivational run. Talk about some things here, get her to bear down a little bit more. As the team from Windermere is ready to go. Hannah Marion. Looking to come through here at the plate. 1 home run in the tournament. It came in just hitting .238, but still making a difference with the long ball, as there she looks at strike 1 over the outer edge. Has been very active in this tournament in the circle, coming in 5-2 with just 10 earned runs out of 11 total, giving up 45 strikeouts and 29 in the 3rd innings. And off-speed pitch there by Buckner. I'm not sure what it was. It didn't have a whole lot of horizontal motion to it. It just kind of hung up there, and Marion could not pull the trigger as it painted over the black of the plate. No balls, 2 strikes, 2 down. And this time trying to go hard with the fastball, but lost it a little much and trying to change the eye level of Marion. Still in a good spot, though, for Buckner, as she has to have Marion guessing after that outstanding off-speed pitch 2 pitches ago. Are you ready with the signal? And tried to pull the string, but held on a little too long, as that one goes high for ball 2. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And the big flag in center field is absolutely stationary, folks, as the wind has all but gone away. Marion pops this one up behind the plate first base side, and it'll fall out of play. None of the parents decide to make a try at it, which is disappointing. You need to make the play out there. Set an example for the players. That's what I say. Other way, we'll do it again here at 2-2. Marion thankful for another opportunity here after that pop-up. Still all the way down on the bat. And fouls that one straight back. Buckner had a little turn on that one, folks, as that was not a straight fastball. Still hard, not an off-speed pitch, but she turned that one over, as I think Marion had that one squared up ready to go, and it had some late movement on it. The latest 2-2 offering. Turned over, line to third, and Rodriguez makes up for that earlier error and squeezes this one. So no problem there for the Wildfire, as for a second time they leave the Storm with 2 runners on base. In the bottom half of the 6th inning, no runs on 1 hit. There was 1 Wildfire error and 2 Storm left on base. Your score through 6 complete is Windermere Wildfire 1 and Storm 0. We'll be back with you here from Salem, Virginia in just a few moments. All right, folks, we'll set the stage for you here as we get ready for the 7th inning. 1-0 Windermere Wildfire. If this score holds, or if the lead holds, I should say, for Windermere through the final, then we will have another game for you. It'll take about anywhere from 12 to 15 minutes for the Salem crew to get the field ready to go for that one, and certainly there'll be lineup changes and moving those things around. But if Windermere wins this game, then we'll have a winner-take-all second game immediately following this game. And that'll be for the 18U championship here. 1 run on 5 hits with 2 errors and 4 runners left on by Windermere. No runs on 3 hits, no errors, 5 runners left on by the Storm, including 2 innings where they had 2 runners left on first and second. As we get things going here in the top half of the 7th inning with the catcher Larkin Maceda. And Maceda looks at ball 1. Certainly Windermere and head coach George Paulson would love an extra insurance run here, as base runners will be the key for both of these teams here in the 7th. And swinging and grounding that one to short. And Sienkiewicz, who's been outstanding over there all game, had that one run up her leg for presumed error here. So that'll be the first error of the game for the Storm, as she had it and it just came up on her. Rodriguez knows that feeling, as she had an error last inning but came away with a good defensive play to end the frame. And she steps in with a leadoff runner on. And I would not be surprised with a sacrifice situation, and there it is. And Thornsberry will tag her out. So those of you scoring at home, that goes down as a 3U sac BU. And 1 runner now on second base in the form of Larkin Maceda, although we might be looking at some sort of change here right now, as
Stepping up, number 29,
Jaden Rosowski is still in that flex position, and not sure why we're looking at a change unless they change them out. We're interchanging in between for possible other scenarios. Either way, Jaden steps in, had her first at bat last time through the order. The first time through, it was for our original designated player Allie Schick. And big left-handed cut fouls that one back for strike one. Base hit will do here for Wildfire, bringing one more run across, as you assume a single anywhere into the outfield would be enough to bring around Maceda at second. Then again, I don't know the speed of the players out here, but I'm making an assumption there, as that one is in there, the off-speed pitch from Marion for strike two. No balls, 2 strikes. And we'll see what Ruskowski's thought process is here. Not choking up on the bat at all, so still full swing mode, even though down 0-2. And that one's off the outside edge. Really good pitch, though, by Marion. I'm at a bit of an angle, though, but just from watching pitches here for a couple games here this afternoon, and obviously this one here in this specific position, that one was awful close, folks. The 1-0 pitch to Ruskowski. Turned on and up the middle, and a little jam shot falls in. Coming up throwing, though, is Allen from center. Did she get the tag? She did. Wow. Great throw there from center field as Karis Platt, not Allen, wrong team, my apologies, but Karis Platt charging the whole way, came up firing on the little squib job that went into center field for a base hit for Ruskowski. And then the runner at second base, Maceda, trying to come around, making me sound, again, bad through the entire thing, assuming a single would score the run. Well, it didn't, as Platt came up with a big throw and the tag applied by Alicia Thompson behind the plate. Lily Keister stepping in now with 2 down, and Ruskowski on first. A little excuse me swing to third. Nice play, and it's going to be a foul ball, actually. Casey Machado kind of, was like darn over there with her hand motion, but made a nice play. Now she's ready. First and third way in. Very in, as we know that Keister is a slap hitter, and I would imagine that means running bunts very much in her wheelhouse, and she chops that one to third. And Machado still gets her opportunity, throws across to Thornsberry to end the inning. So the Storm do what they needed to do in